Hi, this is Joanna and welcome back to another video for the CAS-ual Friday Stamps. And this is a new release that I'm using today. It's called Autumn Blessings. And I don't have the black liner paper on my stamp set, so I just stamped it on a piece of paper so you can see how it looks like. But if you buy it, of course, it looks like a normal stamp set with a black liner paper on top. And it also has some coordinating dies. So I will be using the acorn die on today's card. So I'm starting out by creating my card base, and this is going to be a top folding standard size A2 card. So it's 5.5 and 4 1/4, and then I cut a piece of craft cardstock just slightly smaller. And I will use some distress ink to ink up the edges, but just before I do that I will distress the edges a little bit as well. And this is the distress tool. And if you don't have this kind of tool, you can just use a scissors instead, but you have to be careful so you don't cut yourself. So this is a little bit safer to use, and I'm so clumsy, so yeah, I thought it would be good to use this. And then I'm using, and this is the walnut stain distress ink, and I'm using my mini inking blending tool to apply it to the edges. And I'm working off my non-stick craft mat, and this is really good because it's so easy to clean. So I really like working off of it. And now it's finished. So I'm starting out by cutting my the shaker area. So I'm using only the bottom portion of the acorn, and I'm holding it in place with some washi tape, and then I run it through my die cut machine. So this is the only portion that I'm going to die cut on this card, and then I will use the acorn stamp, and I will only use the top portion of the stamp. And I'm using brown memento ink, but you don't have to use memento because I'm not going to do any coloring on this card. This was just the right shade of brown that I wanted, so that's why I'm using this memento ink. So I'm just lining up the stamp, and I'm stamping it so it looks like an acorn, but I didn't do a very good job stamping. There was a little bit that I missed when I stamped, so I'm using my mini inking tool again, and I'm just applying some brown ink. And then nobody will know that I didn't do a very good job stamping. Of course, you and me, of course, but no one else. And it was a little bit darker than the brown memento ink, but it looks good. It looks like it's shaded a little bit, so it actually turned out really, really well. And then I'm using my ATG gun to adhere the acetate, and I'm using Judikin's embossable acetate, but if you don't have this kind of acetate you can just use a piece of old packaging. Works just as fine. And for the sentiment, it's from the same stamp set, and I'm stamping it with my memento brown ink again. And I love to use my Fiskars stamp press. It's so easy to line up the sentiments, to get them really straight. And I love the font of this, I think it's so beautiful. And then I'm stamping one more sentiment, so it says Autumn Greetings. And I'm stamping that in the same brown ink. And now it's time to adhere the foam on the back side, and I'm using my 3M foam tape. So I'm just cutting it down to size, and I'm going to use some micro beads, and they are really tiny and they have a tendency to escape. So I'm making sure that I line this up so they can't escape, so they stay inside of the card. But I'm starting out with some bigger beads, and these are brown glass beads. I use them for jewelry making and also for cards. So I'm just adding some brown beads in there. And here are the micro beads. I have a lot of colors. So I will use two colors. I will use the copper color and also the orange color. And I love mixing these together with beads. I think it looks so beautiful. And it creates some interest as well. And I wanted this to be quite full, so I added a lot of micro beads and pearls inside of there. And then I just use a piece of paper to secure the shaker area. And I'm pressing it really good in place, so I'm sure that the micro beads don't escape. And then I'm adding some tape onto the back side of that. And then I'm just adding it to my card. And if you are interested in any of the supplies that I used in today's video, they are listed in the YouTube description down below or over at my blog. And this is actually an old Wink of Stella. So I had a clear Wink of Stella, and then it ran out. So I added some water and some gold perfect pearl inside of it instead, and it works perfect. So this is not a regular Wink of Stella, this is water mixed with golden perfect pearls. And it creates such a beautiful and very subtle shimmer. So I'm just adding that on top of the acorn and also on top of the greeting. And then I'm just working the edges a little bit to create some extra interest. And I think there is something missing, so I'm going to use this small leaf. And I'm using some green ink from Hero Arts, and I'm just stamping a little leaf also. And then I'm using again my Wink of Stella, but this is not a Wink of Stella, it's perfect pearls and water. And I'm just adding some gold on top of the leaf as well. And this was all for me today. I hope that you liked the video. Take care. Bye.